April by Ralph Waldo Emerson. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Davis Drake. The April winds are magical, and thrill our tuneful frames. The garden walks are passional to bachelors and dames. The hedge is gemmed with diamonds, the air with cupids full. The cobweb clues of Rosamond guide lovers to the pool. Each dimple in the water, each leaf that shades the rock, can cozen, pique, and flatter, can parley and provoke. Goodfellow, Pluck, and Goblins know more than any book. Down with your doleful problems, and court the sunny brook. The south winds are quick-witted, the schools are sad and slow, the masters quite omitted, the lore we care to know. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Burying by Ralph Waldo Emerson. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Davis Drake. May be true what I had heard. Earth's a howling wilderness, truculent with fraud and force. Said I, strolling through the pastures and along the riverside, caught among the blackberry vines, feeding on the Ethiop's sweet. Pleasant fancies overtook me. I said, what influence me preferred, elect, to dream thus beautiful? The vines replied, and didst thou deem no wisdom from our berries went? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The City Revisited by Stephen Vincent Benet, read for LibriVox.org by Bryan Ness. The gray gulls drift across the bay, softly and still as flakes of snow against the thinning fog. All day I sat and watched them come and go, and now at last the sun was set, filling the waves with colored fire, till each seemed like a jeweled spire thrust up from some drowned city. Soon from peak and cliff and minaret the city's lights began to wink, each like a friendly word. The moon began to broaden out her shield, spurting with silver. Straight before the brown hills lay like quiet beasts, stretched out beside a well-loved door, and filling earth and sky and field with the calm heaving of their breasts. Nothing was gone, nothing was changed, the smallest wave was unestranged by all the long ache of the years since last I saw them, blind with tears. Their welcome like the hills stood fast, and I had come home at last. So I laughed out with them aloud to think that now the sun was broad and climbing up the iron sky, where the raw streets stretched sullenly about another room I knew, in a mean house, and soon there too the smith would burst the flimsy door and find me lying on the floor, just where I fell the other night after that breaking wave of pain. How they will storm and rage and fight, servants and mistress, one and all, no money for the funeral. I broke my life there, let it stand at that. The waters are a plain, heaving and bright on either hand, a tremulous and lustral peace, which shall endure though all things cease. Filling my heart as water fills a cup, there stand the quiet hills. So, waiting for my wings to grow, I watch the gulls sail to and fro, rising and falling, soft and swift, drifting along as bubbles drift. And though I see the face of God hereafter, this day I have trod nearer to him than I shall tread ever again. The night is dead. And there's the dawn poured out like wine along the dim horizon line. And from the city comes the chimes. We have our heaven on earth sometimes. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Compensation by Ralph Waldo Emerson. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Davis Drake. Why should I keep holiday, when other men have none? Why but because, when these are gay, I sit and mourn alone? And why, when mirth unseals all tongues, should mine alone be dumb? Ah, late I spoke to silent throngs, and now their hour is come. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Dirge for Two Veterans by Walt Whitman. For LibriVox.org. Narrated by Sean McKinley. The last sunbeam lightly falls from the finished Sabbath. On the pavement here, and there beyond, it is looking down a new-made double grave. Lo, the moon ascending, up from the east, the silvery round moon, beautiful over the housetops, ghastly phantom moon, immense and silent moon. I see a sad procession, and I hear the sound of coming full-keyed bugles, all the channels of the city streets they're flooding, as with voices and with tears. I hear the great drums pounding, and the small drums steady whirring, and every blow of the great convulsive drums strikes me through and through. For the Son is brought with the Father, in the foremost ranks of the fierce assault they fell. Two veterans, Son and Father, drop together, and the double grave awaits them. Now nearer blow the bugles, and the drums strike more convulsive, and the daylight o'er the pavement quite has faded, and the strong dead march enwraps me. And the eastern sky upbuoying, the sorrowful vast phantom moves illumined. 'Tis some mother's large transparent face, in heaven brighter glowing. O strong dead march, you please me. O moon immense, with your silvery face you soothe me. O my soldiers twain, O my veterans passing to burial, what I have I also give you. The moon gives you light, and the bugles and the drums give you music, and my heart, O my soldiers, my veterans, my heart gives you love. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Each and All by Ralph Waldo Emerson. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Davis Drake. Little thinks in the field yon red-cloaked clown of thee from the hilltop looking down. The heifer that lows in the upland farm, far heard, lows not thine ear to charm. The sexton, tolling his bell at noon, deems not that great Napoleon stops his horse, and lists with delight, whilst his files sweep round yon Alpine height. Nor knowest thou what argument thy life to thy neighbour's creed has lent. All are needed by each one. Nothing is fair or good alone. I thought the sparrow's note from heaven, singing at dawn on the alder bough. I brought him home in his nest at even. He sings the song, but it cheers not now, for I did not bring home the river and the sky. He sang to my ear, then sang to my eye. The delicate shells lay on the shore, the bubbles of the latest wave fresh pearls to their enamel gave, and the bellowing of the savage sea greeted their safe escape to me. I wiped away the weeds and foam, I fetched my sea-born treasures home. But the poor, unsightly, noisome things had left their beauty on the shore, with the sun and the sand and the wild uproar. The lover watched his graceful maid, as mid the virgin train she strayed, nor knew her beauty's best attire was woven still by the snow-white choir. At last she came to his hermitage, like the bird from the woodlands to the cage. The gay enchantment was undone, a gentle wife, but fairy none. Then I said, I covet truth. Beauty is unripe childhood's cheat. I leave it behind with the games of youth. As I spoke, beneath my feet the ground pine curled its pretty wreath, running over the club moss burrs. I inhaled the violet's breath. Around me stood the oaks and firs. Pine cones and acorns lay on the ground. Over me soared the eternal sky, full of light and of deity. Again I saw, again I heard, the rolling river, the morning bird. Beauty through my senses stole. I yielded myself to the perfect whole. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Fire and Ice by Robert Frost. Read for LibriVox.org by Clarica. Some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. From what I've tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. But if I had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to know that for destruction ice is also great and would suffice. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Foreign Lands by Robert Louis Stevenson. For LibriVox.org, narrated by Sean McKinley. Up into the cherry tree, who should climb but little me? I held the trunk with both my hands and looked abroad on foreign lands. I saw the next door garden lie, adorned with flowers before my eye, and many pleasant places more that I had never seen before. If I could find a higher tree, farther and farther I should see, to where the grown-up river slips into the sea among the ships, to where the roads on either hand lead onward into fairyland, where all the children dine at 5, and all the playthings come alive. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Hearing that his friend was coming back from the war by Wang Qian. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Davis Drake. In old days, those who went to fight in 3 years had 1 year's leave. But in this war, the soldiers are never changed. They must go on fighting till they die on the battlefield. I thought of you, so weak and indolent, hopelessly trying to learn to march and drill. That a young man should ever come home again seemed about as likely as that the sky should fall. Since I got the news that you were coming back, twice I have mounted to the high hall of your home. I found your brother mending your horse's stall. I found your mother sewing your new clothes. I am half afraid. Perhaps it is not true. Yet I never weary of watching for you on the road. Each day I go out at the city gate with a flask of wine, lest you should come thirsty. Oh, that I could shrink the surface of the world, so that suddenly I might find you standing at my side. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Life and Age of Man from Ancient Poems, Ballads, and Songs of England by Robert Bell. Read for LibriVox.org by Bryan Ness. From one of Thackeray's catalogues preserved in the British Museum, it appears that The Life and Age of Man was one of the productions printed by him at the Angel in Duck Lane, London. This old poem is said to have been a great favorite with the father of Robert Burns. In prime of years, when I was young, I took delight in youthful ways, not knowing then what did belong unto the pleasures of those days. At 7 years old I was a child, and subject then to be beguiled. At 2 times 7 I went to learn what discipline is taught at school. When good from ill I could discern, I thought myself no more a fool. My parents were contriving then how I might live when I were man. At 3 times 7 I waxed wild, when manhood led me to be bold. I thought myself no more a child, my own conceit it so me told. Then did I venture far and near, to buy delight at price full dear. At 4 times 7 I take a wife, and leave off all my wanton ways, thinking thereby perhaps to thrive, and save myself from sad disgrace. So farewell, my companions all, for other business doth me call. At 5 times 7 I must hard strive, what I could gain by mighty skill, but still against the stream I drive, and bowl up stones against the hill. The more I labored might and main, the more I strove against the stream. At 6 times 7 all covetise began to harbor in my breast. My mind still then contriving was, how I might gain this worldly wealth, to purchase lands and live on them, to make my children mighty men. At 7 times 7 all worldly thought began to harbor in my brain. Then did I drink a heavy draught of water of experience plain. There none so ready was as I to purchase bargains, sell, or buy. At 8 times 7 I waxed old, and took myself unto my rest. Neighbours then sought my counsel bold, and I was held in great request. But age did so abate my strength, that I was forced to yield at length. At 9 times 7 take my leave, of former vain delights must I. It then fell sorely did me grieve. I fetched many a heavy sigh. To rise up early and sit up late, my former life I loathe and hate. At 10 times 7 my glass is run, and I, poor silly man, must die. I looked up and saw the sun had overcome the crystal sky. So now I must this world forsake, another man my place must take. Now you may see, as in a glass, the whole estate of mortal men, how they from 7 to 7 do pass, until they are 70, and when their glass is fully run, they must leave off as they begun. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Losing a Slave Girl by Po Chu E. Translated by Arthur Whaley. Read for LibriVox.org by David Starner on August 8, 2007. Losing a Slave Girl. Around my garden the little wall is low. In the bailiff's lodge the lists are seldom checked. I am ashamed to think we were not always kind. I regret your labors that will never be repaid. The caged bird owes no allegiance. The wind-tossed flower does not cling to the tree. Where tonight she lies, none can give us news, nor any knows save the bright watching moon. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Now, O Now, in This Brown Land by James Joyce. For LibriVox.org, narrated by Sean McKinley. Now, O now, in this brown land, where love did so sweet music make, we too shall wander, hand in hand, forbearing for old friendship's sake, nor grieve because our love was gay, which now is ended in this way. A rogue in red and yellow dress is knocking, knocking at the tree, and all around our loneliness the wind is whistling merrily. The leaves, they do not sigh at all when the year takes them in the fall. Now, oh now, we hear no more the villanelle and roundelay, yet will we kiss, sweetheart, before we take sad leave at close of day. Grieve not, sweetheart, for anything. The year is gathering. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Oh, It Was Out by Donnycarney by James Joyce. For LibriVox.org, narrated by Sean McKinley. Oh, it was out by Donnycarney, when the bat flew from tree to tree, my love and I did walk together, and sweet were the words she said to me. Along with us the summer wind went murmuring, oh happily, but softer than the breath of summer was the kiss she gave to me. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Rain Has Fallen All the Day by James Joyce. For LibriVox.org, narrated by Sean McKinley. Rain has fallen all the day. O come among the laden trees, the leaves lie thick upon the way of memories. Staying a little by the way of memories shall we depart. Come, my beloved, where I may speak to your heart. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Sceptic by Robert W. Service, read for LibriVox.org by David Starner on August 9th, 2007. The Sceptic. My Father Christmas passed away when I was barely 7. At 21, alack a day, I lost my hope of heaven. Yet not in either lies the curse. The hell of it's because I don't know which loss hurt the worse, my God or Santa Claus. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Seven Little Sparrows by Ralph Chaplin, read for LibriVox.org by David Starner on August 9th, 2007. Seven Little Sparrows. Beyond the deep-cut window, the bars are heaped with snow, and 7 little sparrows are sitting in a row. Fluffy blur of snowflakes, dappled haze of light. The narrow prison vista is all awhirl with white. 7 little sparrows, ruffled brown and gray, snuggled close against the bars, and this is Christmas Day. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Smith of the Third Organ Dies by Mary Carolyn Davies, read for LibriVox.org by Bryan Ness. Autumn in Oregon is wet as spring, and green, with little singings in the grass, and pheasants flying. Gold, green, and red, great narrow lovely things, as if an orchid had snatched wings. There are strange birds like blots against a sky where a sun is dying. Beyond the river where the hills are blurred, a cloud like the one word of the too silent sky stirs, and there stand black trees on either hand. Autumn in Oregon is wet and new as spring, and puts a fever like spring's in the cheek that once has touched her dew. And it puts longing, too, in eyes that once have seen her season-flouting green, and ears that listened to her strange birds speak. Autumn in Oregon, I'll never see those hills again, a blur of blue and rain across the old Willamette. I'll not stir a pheasant as I walk and hear it whir above my head, an indolent, trusting thing. When all this silly dream is finished here, the fellows will go home to wear their fall rose petals over every street, and all the year is like a friendly festival. But I shall never watch those hedges drip color, not see the tall spar of a ship in our old harbor. They say that I am dying. Perhaps that's why it all comes back again. Autumn in Oregon, pheasants flying. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sonnet 28 by William Shakespeare, read for LibriVox.org by Clarica. How can I then return in happy plight, that I am debarred the benefit of rest? When day's oppression is not eased by night, but day by night and night by day oppressed, and each, though enemies to either's reign, do in consent shake hands to torture me. the one by toil, the other to complain how far I toil, still farther off from thee. I tell the day, to please him, thou art bright, and dost him grace when clouds do blot the heaven. So flatter I the swart complexioned night, when sparkling stars twire not, thou gildest the even. But day doth daily draw my sorrows longer, and night doth nightly make grief's length seem stronger. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. To You by Walt Whitman. Read for LibriVox.org by Clarica. Whoever you are, I fear you are walking the walks of dreams. I fear these supposed realities are to melt from under your feet and hands. Even now your features, joys, speech, house, trade, manners, troubles, follies, costume, crimes dissipate away from you. Your true soul and body appear before me. They stand forth out of affairs, out of commerce, shops, law, science, work, forms, clothes, the house, medicine, print, buying, selling, eating, drinking, suffering, dying. Whoever you are, now I place my hand upon you, that you be my poem. I whisper with my lips close to your ear. I have loved many women and men, but I love none better than you. Oh, I have been dilatory and dumb. I should have made my way straight to you long ago. I should have blabbed nothing but you. I should have chanted nothing but you. I will leave all and come and make the hymns of you. None have understood you, but I understand you. None have done justice to you. You have not done justice to yourself. None but have found you imperfect. I only find no imperfection in you. None but would subordinate you. I only am he who will never consent to subordinate you. I only am he who places over you no master, owner, better, God beyond what waits intrinsically in yourself. Painters have painted their swarming groups, and the centre figure of all, from the head of the centre figure spreading a nimbus of gold-coloured light. But I paint myriads of heads, but paint no head without its nimbus of gold-coloured light. From my hand, from the brain of every man and woman it streams, effulgently flowing forever. Oh, I could sing such grandeurs and glories about you! You have not known what you are. You have slumbered upon yourself all your life. Your eyelids have been the same as closed most of the time. What you have done returns already in mockeries. Your thrift, knowledge, prayers, if they do not return in mockeries, what is their return? The mockeries are not you. Underneath them and within them I see you lurk. I pursue you where none else has pursued you. Silence, the desk, the flippant expression, the night, the accustomed routine. If these conceal you from others, or from yourself, they do not conceal you from me. The shaved face, the unsteady eye, the impure complexion, if these balk others, they do not balk me. The pert apparel, the deformed attitude, drunkenness, greed, premature death, all these I part aside. There is no endowment in man or woman that is not tallied in you. There is no virtue, no beauty in man or woman, but as good is in you. No pluck, no endurance in others, but as good is in you. No pleasure waiting for others, but an equal pleasure waits for you. As for me, I give nothing to anyone, except I give the like carefully to you. I sing the songs of the glory of none, not God, sooner than I sing the songs of the glory of you. Whoever you are, claim your own at any hazard. These shows of the east and west are tame compared to you. These immense meadows, these interminable rivers, you are immense and interminable as they. These furies, elements, storms, motions of nature, throes of apparent dissolution, you are he or she who is master or mistress over them, master or mistress in your own right over nature, elements, pain, passion, dissolution. The hopples fall from your ankles, you find unfailing sufficiency. Old or young, male or female, rude, low, rejected by the rest, whatever you are promulges itself. Through birth, life, death, burial, the means are provided, nothing is scanted. Through angers, losses, ambition, ignorance, ennui, what you are picks its way. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Where My Books Go by William Butler Yeats. Read for LibriVox.org by Clarica. All the words that I utter and all the words that I write must spread out their wings untiring, and never rest in their flight, till they come where your sad, sad heart is, and sing to you in the night. Beyond where the waters are moving, storm darkened or starry bright. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.